Imagine if I could get a Coke bottle and literally pour out my diabetes. How amazing would that be? Wow, thank you CrossFit, you just solved all of my problems. Hello everybody, I'm actually back today with a diabetes related video, which is amazing because I've been really not feeling the whole diabetes thing lately. I think if you are diabetic, you understand that you go through times where you just kind of don't want to talk about it or even acknowledge its existence. Today I'm going to talk about the whole CrossFit diabetes controversy thing that happened recently. Okay, so CrossFit, according to this, is a core strength and conditioning program. Ooh. And the first thing that came up too when I googled CrossFit is people disgusted by CrossFit's open diabetes Coke tweet, which is good. That's from the Huffington Post. That makes me happy. So if you don't know what happened, they posted this picture which says open diabetes and has this picture of a Coca-Cola bottle. So there are just too many things wrong with this. First of all, it's such an extreme way of thinking. There is a difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetes, and that difference does have to do somewhat with lifestyle and with the choices you make and the, how you eat, how you exercise. We have to remember that with both types of diabetes, there is a genetic component, which means that to a certain extent, it is absolutely really nobody's fault. There's no reason to assign blame either to type 1s or type 2s, and I think the first thing that comes across someone's mind if they're type 1 when they see this is, that's not me. That's not accurate. I don't drink tons of sugar or eat a lot of sugar, eat badly, or do anything bad for my body. And all those type 2s, that's all they do, and that's why they deserve to have this disease. They don't work hard enough to try to get rid of it or whatever. And I know that that's a very, I don't want to say popular thing amongst type 1 diabetics, but it kind of is because I think it makes us feel better about ourselves in a weird way. But I have definitely been a person to do this in the past, oh, I'm not a type 2, I feel better about myself, I feel like a better person because I'm oh, it's not my fault, I got diabetes and it had nothing to do with anything that I did. But that's saying, if there's a person who is a child to two people who have type 2 diabetes already, they can't have access to the best diet, they can't have access to the best lifestyle, and there will be that genetic component that's going to make them more likely to have diabetes, and that is not their fault. And I think that we need to stop blaming people, especially for diseases. Diseases are horrible things that we can't help, and it's definitely no matter what disease you're dealing with, it's difficult. It's you're gonna beat yourself up over it even though you know that it's not your fault. And I don't want type 2 diabetics to do that to themselves because I know a lot of people put so much blame on them. It makes me sad, and I feel sad also knowing that I've kind of done the same thing too. The number one thing is the whole blame factor, and I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with accusing people of things and making them feel bad. But secondly, the fact that this whole image was just put up there without any sort of knowledge. They didn't think about how people were going to react to it. They don't seem to know anything about how diabetes works. Imagine if you're not diabetic and you're watching this, honestly, how would you feel? This has actually just even changed my view on obesity. I too can be very accusatory when I see people who look like they're extremely overweight and look like they don't take care of themselves. But there are too many factors that are going into this. Think about whether that person has had the opportunity to live a perfectly healthy lifestyle, afford a food that is actually good for them, because let's face it, really healthy food is very expensive. We live in a society where it's much easier economically to just make bad choices when it comes to what you put in your body. Is that genetic component that I was talking about too, so people are just going to be more prone to being obese or having type 2 diabetes. Also the psychological factor, to be able to completely turn your life around and go from 500 pounds to 200 pounds, or to go from being type 2 diabetic to not having to worry about your blood sugars, that's a lot of work. I think type 1 diabetics kind of just feel like type 2 diabetics can easily cure themselves, and I've definitely been guilty of kind of assuming that in the past. And I've said this a million times, but diabetes is very much an emotional disease. It is very taxing on how you feel about yourself and your overall just emotional mindset every single day. If they had put this up with the complete ignorance that they posted it with, and then somebody such as Nick Jonas, who is known for, not known for having diabetes, but he is famous and he happens to have diabetes, which gives him a bigger voice than most of us in this community. If he's gonna go and tweet about that and then you're gonna respond again with something that makes absolutely no sense, like they don't even check their facts, that's crazy to me. If you have something as big as CrossFit or a music career, an acting career, something where you can actually reach out to thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, to not actually check your facts before you post something publicly like that is like, I feel like that is just so stupid. I don't even have that big of a following on YouTube or Instagram, but I have enough of one that like I'm sitting here so nervous trying to talk to you guys about it because I want to be able to get my facts straight. So why wouldn't they? I don't know. I haven't even explained what happened. So after this picture was posted, Nick Jonas tweeted at them, if they're going to talk about diabetes, they should at least know the difference, which is, yeah, that's a huge part of it, but not only should you know the difference, but you should at least have some sort of knowledge of how it works. You guys know that I have said a million times that I hate the spread of misinformation and I hate people's ignorance and I hate how diabetes is portrayed in the media, and this is just kind of everything all in one, and it's so extremely frustrating. But I have also gained hope in seeing that so many people are reacting to this and they are just really standing up for just kind of that cliche image of how diabetes is seen. And also I feel like not enough, but there's been a relatively good amount of people defending type 2s too, which I think is just really been a long time coming. Okay. Hey. Also the fact that part of the response is that they don't want type 1s to become type 2s. First of all, that is physically impossible. That is such a huge statement to make. Like, where did you get that information? And you know that this was going to be something that the media is going to pick up, so why in the world would you just, who told you that? Who told you? Like, did they consult with the doctor? Did they even do something as simple as Googling what is diabetes, what are the differences? Like, they didn't do anything. They just bleh. I'm just starting to read some of this. Her opinion is that we're talking about all diabetics. This is a matter of fact. It is false. Your opinion is wrong. This is, where did we stereotype type 1 diabetes? This is just a random tweet someone said. You said open diabetes in general, not type 2. There you are stereotyping that type 1 got diabetes by drinking Coke. This is perfect. Dumb people make blatant misinformed comments about chronic diseases that take lives. So true. I think this is so touchy, and when it gets to this point, they just need to take down that picture. Why? I don't know why they're still trying so hard to defend themselves. People are getting angry with them. I think it's interesting because of all the people that work for them, is not a single person a type 1 diabetic. And if so, if you work for CrossFit and you're type 1 diabetic and you're not saying anything, you are part of this problem, and it's disgusting. Okay, I will not deny the fact that if you already have type 2 diabetes, if you already have type 1 diabetes, drinking tons of something like Coca-Cola is not going to be good for you. But that, like, imagine if I could get a Coke bottle and literally pour out my diabetes. How amazing would that be? Wow, thank you CrossFit, you just solved all of my problems. Oh my goodness. I didn't want to sound too harsh about anybody's opinions, because everybody's entitled to their opinions. But this person tweets, maybe we should spell it diabetes when discussing type 2 so the type 1s don't get all butthurt about a effing Coke. Gross. Gross. So much ignorance and so much hate. I mean, you can try to say that this isn't hate, but if you were saying things that are hurtful to a whole community of people, and you just don't even care, it's pretty hateful. Who even are these people? If they just wanted attention for their company, good job, you did it. Okay, it looks like they tried to cover their butts by then trying to explain that they understood the difference between the two types. Type 2 diabetes can be caused by overconsumption of sugar, period. Type 1 cannot. That is true. Type 1 isn't caused by diet, but type 1s can develop type 2. Over 90% of diabetes is type 2 diabetes, and I understand that if they're going to talk about diabetes in general, that they might kind of just use the word diabetes applying to type 2s because they would assume everyone knows that. I didn't even know that until I was diagnosed. That is not common knowledge. Overgeneralization, people. It makes people upset when you do that. Don't overgeneralize. I would just have so much more respect if they had posted something like, here are the negative effects of sugar, specifically in sodas. Here's the data that's to support that. Type 2 diabetics shouldn't be drinking a whole lot of soda, obviously. Neither should type 1s, but they should have specified first of all the type, and they should have specified like where they were getting this data from and why they were trying to even talk about this in the first place, because it's like they want to act like they're trying to care about people by saying, yeah, we're just protecting you, we're showing you what sugar can do to you and what the soda industries are doing to you, and they're literally killing you people because they're giving you all of this cheap soda that you can just guzzle down until you die. I mean, that's basically what they're saying. But why be harsh about it? If you're going to be talking about that, then it seems like you're talking directly to people who are already developing type 2 or people who already have type 2, and God, what a harsh way to go about that. Why do you think anyone's going to listen to you? The only people I can imagine like looking at that picture and being like, yeah, that's so right, are people who have never really had to struggle with body issues, who are already like physically fit, who don't have to worry about diabetes, who don't know anything about diabetes. If you're going to be smart about how you're going to manage a company like this, then don't attack people. Don't you want people to like you? Don't you want people to buy what you're trying to sell? Doesn't make much sense to me. Alright, so I have rambled for far too long about this. I hope I somewhat got my point across. I would really hope that you guys would be nice in the comments. If there's anything you disagree with what I say, just say it nicely. That's all that I really care about. You guys are awesome. I'll be back next week with another video. Make sure to like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed if you want to see more of my videos. Yeah.